my LSAT journey, I did a lot and spent a lot too. So here are some of my reviews of the resources that I used to study for the LSAT. Let's get into it. What is up, fam? It's Shar, and welcome to Law and Living Color, where I provide quick tips and experiences in the law school process and application field as a person of color. So first things first, I did what I thought was the cheapest route, which was self-study. Spent about $200, and the LSAT resource that I used was Powerschool. This was all during my junior year of college while I was in school as a full-time student, as a full-time employee, and also involved on campus. So what I will say about Powerschool is not that I just didn't like Powerschool, it was just, my learning style wasn't just reading about the LSAT, like that wasn't it. So I give Powerschool honestly 2 stars, and I give it kind of on the lower end of the scale just because like it was just all over the place for me. I just couldn't understand. First off, I don't like how Powerschool gives question types different names than everybody else. I just don't like that. I know they're trying to be different and have like their Powerschool touch to it. I did not like that at all. It would just be confusing when I would study with other people and they would be talking about a question type and I had no idea what they were talking about because Powerschool gave that question type a different name. So that in of itself, like that was just too confusing for me. On top of the fact that I just did not like learning from a book. I wanted to have a teacher or a tutor. So yeah, that was self-study for me. I moved on to looking for stuff that my school provided, which I should have done first. And I saw that an organization at my school provided free LSAT classes, which, like I said, I should have done first because I just said it 2 seconds ago. It's free, like free, no cost. And what these classes did for me and why I kind of like them better than Powerschool, so heads up, 2.5 stars for these instead of Powerschool's 2. And the reason why I liked it so much better than Powerschool, but the reason why it wasn't a higher, I guess, review rank was because too many people in the class. And then second, they don't really tell you how to attack questions. They just kind of give you an overview of the LSAT. They'll give you some questions where you do it together. But honestly, it was kind of like, yeah, it's a no for me. So I definitely would say this is a great supplemental tool. Like, go and do something like this first. So if you're an undergrad right now, like, check to see if your school provides free LSAT classes. Check that out because not only does it give you a feel if you want the class environment, it gives you a feel of what your learning style is. So I moved forward, still in school at this point, and I did a prep resource called Success Prep, and it cost me about $6.99, I believe. Is it $5.99 or $6.99? But I'm pretty sure it's $6.99. And what that was, it was they offered classes at a nearby institution, an undergrad institution. It was 10 classes, and they gave you like a workbook and all that. My downside was they didn't give you any tests. You had to buy that yourself. You had to buy all the supplemental materials yourself. So that was aside from the fee that they charged you, which I thought was steep for not getting those things, or at least some of them. So overall, I would give Success Prep 3 stars. 3 stars. I actually did like Success Prep. First off, the class size was really small. There's about 8 of us in there. I did like my, teacher. He did a really good job. He was very to the point, shows you his strategies and everything. I liked how he did his methods. And he was just really cool. You could ask him questions at any time. You could shoot him a text, shoot him an email, and he would respond. I was in school at the time and I really realized I couldn't study and go to school. This was when I realized this because we had homework assignments and I just never did them. And the reason was because I was so busy. So I made the conclusion like, okay, I'm going to take a gap year. That is literally when I made that decision, was after taking that class. So had I took that class during my gap year, I honestly don't think I would have done any other further prep resources. I just would have took that class and then bought a whole bunch of prep tests and done it that way. I would have saved a lot more money, I feel like. Finally, I have made this decision that I took a gap year, and so I did one last prep service, and I went with Kaplan. and I spent $1,200 on Kaplan. And I have a few things to say. So before I give my review for Kaplan, here's what I gotta say. Kaplan is not for everybody. And I guess that's a lot of prep test resources, but Kaplan specifically. And the reason why is because of Kaplan's test prep method of teaching the LSAT. A lot of people don't take to it, and a lot of people do. The people that I knew that did Kaplan did fairly well on the LSAT, so that is kind of why I took it. But I also knew a lot of people that self-studied, and guess what, guys? Self-study wasn't for me. So again, it goes by the person and their learning style. The reason why I have some quarrel, so like, I jumped 20 points with Kaplan, so let's not get it twisted. Kaplan helped, okay? However, I really think that Ashari did a lot of the work, and Kaplan was like, yeah, go Ashari. Kaplan does provide you all of the prep tests ever taken, and they do provide you drills, and they do provide you what they call the LSAT channel, which is like videos that are supposed to explain how to do things if you're not really quite getting it. This is my thing. If you take the cheaper route of Kaplan, you're just getting those videos, or like a quick class, if that, and then not even getting any tutoring. You can't really hit up anybody. That's the cheaper end, and I feel like a lot of people that get that package are going to be really inconvenienced, unless you're one of those people that can kind of self-study. You just need a little bit of, like, you just need the resources, like you just need the drills and all of that in one, then maybe the cheaper package is for you. But if you're someone that needs a teacher and all that, you're going to need to get the more expensive package. From people that I've helped with the LSAT and use the Kaplan method to help them, they weren't really taking to it. And so that's why I say the Kaplan method, well, you'll see bad reviews on it just because Kaplan does have a method that doesn't cohere with everyone as easily as others do. So I actually use 7 Sage to study for taking the LSAT again, to just boost my score up. And I liked 7 Sage a lot, and it was way cheaper. They offer it on a monthly payment thing, so I believe it's like $60 a month. But honestly, if you take that $60 a month and do it like 3 months, you good, bro, especially if you're trying to boost a score. I like the interface a lot better. One thing I did not like about Kaplan, so before COVID even hit, the LSAT became digital. You just had to take it in person, but it was on tablets. So you could highlight on the tablet. Like, it wasn't booklets anymore. And Kaplan did not adjust to that. Like, they were still providing stuff like it was paper. So you had to print stuff out and do it that way. You couldn't really do it on your computer unless you had like a Mac, which was like, you have previews so you can highlight on your Mac. Or if you like if you had a tablet to draw on. But if you didn't have any of that, you had to print the stuff out. And I did not like that about Kaplan. Like, I genuinely didn't like it. Especially because I took the LSAT during COVID. So especially when it became LSAT Flex, like completely online, it really became a burden because I was taking these 5-section things for only a 3-section test. Not just that, but it was just like all of these tools that you get on the actual LSAT day, you did not get with Kaplan. Like, you had to do it old school, and I just did not like that about Kaplan. I was like, y'all can update this. Y'all getting the money, y'all can update this. I say all that to say I give Kaplan 4 stars. And the reason why I give it a high score is because I jumped so high from my diagnostic to my test day. However, I do think you can find cheaper prep resources out there that could probably help you a bit more than Kaplan does, depending on if Kaplan method is right for you. I would kind of suggest doing those before you even touch Kaplan. I mean, you kind of do have to commit to a prep test resource if you're strapped for cash, which I did at the time. I couldn't try all these different prep resources out, like 7 Sage or Manhattan Prep or anything, or Blueprint, because it was like I kind of had to commit. And because I heard things like I knew people in law school that used Kaplan and got pretty good scores, I was like, okay, Kaplan it is. So I had personal reviews. So if you know anybody, or if you just see anybody, like, check on LinkedIn, check on Instagram, check on, like, see people that have already done this process, reach out to them, ask them what they did. It gives you a pretty good sense of things. Ask them their learning style too when you do ask them that, because that'll give you more insight as to why they chose that and why they did so well. But I honestly would also suggest 7 Sage. So just look into 7 Sage, look into Blueprint. I did like those interfaces pretty well, and I've heard a lot of great things about 7 Sage. In all, I spent about $2,000 on my LSAT journey with no help. These were like coming out of my checks, y'all, so I was very upset that I spent this much money, and in reality, I didn't even have to. I could have spent half of that. So hopefully y'all hear that, and you're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna learn my learning style. I'm gonna see which ones. I'm gonna do some free stuff first. Yeah, do that first. If you're not in undergrad, there are a few resources for you to check out. Like Khan Academy offers free prep. I wouldn't depend on Khan. It's a great supplemental tool. I wouldn't depend on it, but you can gauge your learning style using Khan. And LSAT with the C provides a free diagnostic or a free test, so you can see what the test is like, get a feel for it. And other people make videos about the test and what it's like, so check out videos. If you're just now getting your feet wet with the LSAT, understand the LSAT first before you try to commit to a prep service. That will save a lot of money and it will save a lot of time. Guys, I hope you guys enjoyed my video. If you did, please comment, like, and subscribe if you want to see more content like it. And as always, I gotta end things off with a quote. In the words of Ava DuVernay, be passionate and move forward with gusto of every single hour of every single day until you achieve your goal. Peace, guys.